we are in this together.
You have gifts that I don't have, and I have gifts that you don't have.
That we must see. Now is the time, because it's when we all get together that we will make the changes that we must make. We are the world.
Welcome to Malcolm and We, heard on malcolmpresents.com, a streaming platform heard around the world and beyond. I'm Malcolm Berman with my co-host Jana Larson, and today our guest is Sue Blythe. Sue Blythe, because I was looking at the name of Sue Blythe, who, which I want to find out what a peace educator is, because that's what we need in today's world. But anyway, I'll let my co-host Jana take over. Jana, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Malcolm. Yes. So today we're meeting with my friend Sue Blythe, who, as Malcolm mentioned, is a peace educator. She does that in formal and informal settings, having taught at all levels from preschool to college to senior centers. She is currently teaching a climate action for peace in a community engagement pilot program with We the World and the University of Florida Extension. The Florida Climate Conversation to Action program tells an evolving news story for the human family and the community of life on Earth. And she dedicates this story to her grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. She was inspired in 1985 by the Promise of World Peace, a statement from the Baha'i World Center, and in 2000 by the Earth Charter movement, turning conscience into action. We the World brings the principles of global unity into a vibrant network of networks and the movement of movements for a world that works for all. So thank you for being here, Sue. Well, let's start with talking about the Earth Charter, because I know that is something that has always been an inspiration to you. And there's so much with the Earth Charter. And like at meetings, you always remind us about the Earth Charter says this, the Earth Charter says that. But a lot of people might not know what the Earth Charter is, which I'm sure is beyond surprising. But pretend that I know nothing about the Earth Charter, and well, one wonders what Malcolm knows about the Earth Charter.
I know absolutely nothing.
Oh, good.
Okay.
So you can start at A and continue.
For inquiring minds that want to know, tell us what the Earth Charter is all about.
Okay, I'll do my best. So one thing that I would like you to know about the Earth Charter is the first time I heard about it was at the 1992 Earth Summit. I was not there. I heard about it through the publicity about the Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, that was called by the United Nations to make plans. It was called the Summit for, oh, good grief, I can't even think of the name of it.
That's okay.
It was a very long name about sustainable development. We are learning to live together as one human family and one Earth community with a common destiny. And the Earth Charter was a concept, an idea that they tried to pull together for that summit in 92, but it was too soon. And it just didn't happen that fast. It took almost a decade of consultation, bringing in more and more people. By the time I really got into it, it was 2 years before the final launch, which was in the original launch in the year 2000. And so I got to watch as the draft of this document was fine-tuned and crafted into what I considered just poetic language. And actually, let me just bring that up. I would like to read to you the first opening words of this Earth Charter. It says, We stand at a critical moment in Earth's history, a time when humanity must choose its future. As the world becomes increasingly interdependent and fragile, the future at once holds great peril and great promise. To move forward, we must recognize that in the midst of a magnificent diversity of cultures and life forms, we are one human family and one Earth community with a common destiny. We must join together to bring forth a sustainable global society founded on respect for nature, universal human rights, economic justice, and a culture of peace. Towards this end, it is imperative that we, the peoples of Earth, declare our responsibility to one another, to the greater community of life, and to future generations. That's why I like to say I'm doing this for my grandchildren and their big grandchildren.
Right. And I say to that, amen.
Amen.
Yes, we
That's
agree.
the word.
So now you live in Florida in Gainesville, and that's in Alachua County. That's a hard word to say. Is that an Indian name?
Yes,
Or do
yes,
you
it
know?
is from Alachua, from the Timucua Indians who lived here originally.
Where is that?
Okay.
Is that northern, southern, eastern,
It's
western? I
in
know nothing about
it's
Florida.
in north central Florida, so we're almost about 2 hours south of the Georgia border, and
Oh,
right in the middle, right in between the Gulf and the Atlantic. And so we are one of the places that people who are, the climate migrants who are getting away from the rising sea levels, they are coming to Gainesville.
yeah.
And
Hopefully, you won't be stuck underwater with when the sea rises.
no, we'll just have a lot of people who have that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
So I also know that you're uh, well, you're often in the path of some sort of weather event that is happening. We always we people that are with We the World are always wondering, I wonder how Sue's doing. But
yes.
you're usually safe, but you do feel the effects.
Well, we
So,
we have we have the effects of the extreme weather events for this part of the world, and
yeah.
so our county, by the way, has just done an assessment to indicate what the risks are for our county, and that would be the hurricanes and floods.
Mm.
We have the extreme heat getting warmer and warmer all the time and affecting more and more people. We have the wildfires and a few others, but that's the main thing. So we are looking at how we can come together as a community to prepare for and if necessary, recover from some of these extreme weather events.
well, you're talking about unity, and the things that are happening with you in Gainesville and or me in Los Angeles are international because a lot of the times we are too much focused on what's happening in the U.S. But all of these weather conditions are affecting the world. And if you read what's happening in Europe or in Asia, there are droughts, there are floods, there are wildfires that are uncontrollable. So we are only, what we hear about is more in the U.S. But if you listen, which I listen to is also the BBC, they have reports around the world, and we're all sharing this. We all share everything. Like when we had that happened over here, the eclipse, and you see, well, we're not necessarily in control, but we have to take the control that we can take to fix the weather conditions. I keep on cutting out articles from the LA Times about how the weather, it's the warmest year ever, and it's getting
Right.
hotter.
Yep.
And I think that's why Elon Musk is traveling to outer space because he wants to colonize the moon so we could live there.
Yeah. So
Well,
I'm convinced that we need to fix what we got here, and we
Yeah.
can.
yes.
And
But
so
let's talk about let's talk about peace too, because I know environment is very, very important, and that's probably how you. I mean, you have your climate collaboratory, and if we have time, we can talk about that. But I also know that you're very much a peace person,
Yeah.
and speaking of that, I hope it's okay to talk about your amazing children, you know, I mean, there you were your first students probably, or I don't know, I forget all the story of how you got involved and where this happened and that happened, but I mean your daughters have really taken up the baton, is that the right word?
I think
to
that's it.
help with in your work in their own way and with their children. I don't know if you've been there. I think you have. One daughter is in Costa Rica or has been there. And I mean, they're just on the move and just getting all sorts of education. Do you want to talk about them?
Sure. Always glad to
It's
talk
always fun to
about
talk about your children.
them. So my three daughters have been on this road with me through all of my journey. They were, as you said, my first students, and in fact, my oldest daughter went with me when she was 11 years old to a women's peace conference that was called Global Peace from Vision to Reality. And
Wow.
it was phenomenal. It was a 5-day conference, and she was right in there and just lit up. And the thing that affected her the most was some of the young people who were going across Canada with peace education programs, and they were just going from one town to the next to the next. And so I collected all of the materials that they were using. My daughter just felt like we can do this. We can do this. So we went back to our home. We were living in the Keys, Florida Keys at that time. And I put out a call in our local newspaper to say, who would like to help teach peace? And I had one woman respond, and we put together, that's all you need, right?
Yeah.
All you
Fun
need is
people
one
do
other person to work with.
Yeah.
And so we put together a little puppet show, and it was called Sadako and the Thousand Cranes. Are you familiar with that story? It's a
Yeah.
children's book about a little girl who was a survivor of the atomic bomb in Hiroshima. And she was in the
Oh,
hospital. She's in the hospital, and one of the nurses, and she's dying of leukemia. And one of the nurses says to her that there's a tradition that if you fold 1,000 paper cranes, origami style, your wish will come true. And so she started folding these cranes and said, I will write peace on your wings and you will fly all over the world. And so we put together a little puppet show. My daughter was one of the narrators. A friend and I were in the cardboard refrigerator box stage with our little puppet, right? And it was, we went to the school and did it 4 times in 4 different classes. And the art teacher then said, I will help to fold 1,000 cranes. And we did that. And so we had all of these paper cranes. We used them to decorate the entire school. And during the Christmas break or for Christmas time, and had a PTA dinner for the holidays, and gave the play again for the whole PTA meeting. And you know, all the, it was like an assembly. And so we did that. And then after all of the plans that we had made were done, that's as far as we had planned. But the kids, when we came back in January, said, now what? You know, and so that is the kind of energy that keeps me going. And
Right. Yeah. That's
I have not stopped yet. And so we're just following that thread. and helping to create peace wherever we can. We talk about, now that we're dealing with climate change, we say we're creating peace on and with the earth. And
well, I question, blows my mind. I don't know how we could overcome this. When you talk about any of the, the countries, that are against the U.S. or warlike countries, e.g., Russia and their invasion of Ukraine, when we talk about the Palestinian people in Gaza, we talk about any of the people and the Iranian people. First, everybody says, "Oh, the people are not for the government. They're not for what they're doing. They're anti." But yet the people can't get together to either overthrow the government or overthrow the people that are doing this. Do you know what I mean? It's not that, like if you I've gone to, I've seen interviews with people in Tehran and on the streets, and they say, "Oh, we were not anti-American. They're good, and they give us this and that." Or you speak to the Russian people, and they say, "No, I don't know why we're in Ukraine, because they're our brothers." But nothing is done. They can't get to that next step where the people take over. Which might be called revolution.
Could be, or evolution.
Or
right?
evolution.
Yes,
And
I
that's what
think we
you
are in the process of evolving right now,
yeah.
is what we're doing. And we are learning how to live together as one human family and one earth community with a common destiny. And
And
that's what
that's
the world is all about.
We the World, certainly.
Yeah.
And the Earth Charter has 16 principles for establishing that kind of the values and principles that help us to establish this. So what I've been doing for all these years, I came across We the World in about 2008, and no, 18. Sorry,
18,
it
yeah.
hasn't been that long, but 2018.
It's still, it's 6 years.
And I came in with a very clear idea of what we could do at We the World. And I came in, and I remember, Jana, you were part of this first play, at first attempt at getting this collaborative storytelling adventure going. And I came in and I said, okay, we are on the road to a sustainable, just, and peaceful future, right? And so here we are, and it's 2018 at that time, and each of us has a story to tell. And so let's get into our characters and play with this story. And Yana, you remember who you were at that time? I'm trying to remember.
I've done so many things. The symbol person who?
Yes.
Yes. But what was my name?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yes.
And you were kind of like the Groucho Marx. Yeah, with the secret word, and
yes. And then it was going to be like on Pee-wee's Funhouse, and whenever we heard the word, it was going to be like, "Hey!"
Yeah, and Rick Ulfik was the wizard. He had a real wizard hat, and he was ready to do some magic. And so everybody has a role to play in this thing, and so we're still developing.
And we have been evolving.
And so let me explain what's happening now with that story. I tried to play in different ways out in the world with We the World, and I decided, in order to do this, I'm going to have to do it in my local community, the way I see it. It has to be with real people that I can get together with, and we can play with this. And so what we've developed is what we call Alachua County's bicentennial climate story. And it is our local history going back 200 years to the founding of our county in 1824. And we're now telling the story of the environmental and social changes that have happened over those 200 years. And it's quite
And you're getting media attention too.
Yes,
I think I heard. Yeah,
yes, we are,
that's
indeed.
Impressive.
Yeah, and then what's happening, let me just finish this, because we have commitment from the Matheson History Museum to put together an online exhibition of Alachua County's bicentennial climate story. And so what we're doing is collecting the stories and, videos and things that come out of Alachua County that we can collect in any digital format. So we had some kids that put on a musical play last year for Earth Day, wrote 5 original songs about planet, people, prosperity, peace, and partnerships. And it's just, the creativity of the kids is what I'm really trying to let loose here and have some fun with. And so we are finding different ways. One of the most recent is with the Writers Alliance of Gainesville. They went into the archives of the museum and chose 70 postcards from our history. And they have written stories now, 500-word stories, and we're collecting those and submitting that to the museum for our exhibit. So it's great fun. Also, I want to tell you one more, is that I dress up as my great grandma Sage, right? And I go in and visit with children. And I met with about probably 30 or 40 upper elementary kids. I told them that we are celebrating our 200th anniversary this year. And what we want to do is think about who will they be? Our ancestors in 200 more years, and what we want our county to look like and be like for them in that time. And so I want you to write some letters to them and let them know what you want for the world for them for at that time. And so I just collected them the other day, and they're so delightful. And it's just really fun to be thinking of different ways that people can participate in this climate storytelling.
Well, as I can tell, there's I haven't met you. I know Yana is you've been a long time, but you have a twinkle in your eye.
Yes.
And there's sort of there's an enthusiasm when you talk and an enjoyment of life, which is very contagious. Just wanted to let you know.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I I love life, and I love having. I guess it's just the clear understanding that we really are in a time of change for the better. That what's happening is, as the world is kind of disintegrating, the things that don't work anymore are fading away. We are also integrating into this new global civilization. That's really what this Earth Charter Conference was about. I think it was called Education for Ecological Civilization. And if you don't mind, I'd like to just read through one more part of the Earth Charter
No
that
problem.
really is kind of my call to action, and that is
your mantra.
Right. Principle 14 is to integrate into formal education and lifelong learning the knowledge, values, and skills needed for a sustainable way of life. So that's what we're trying to do, is collect stories, little videos and written stories of how people are addressing the needs in our local community here. And so there are 4 sub-principles for this. First says, provide all, especially children and youth, with educational opportunities that empower them to contribute actively to sustainable development. And so that's what this collaborative storytelling adventure is about, that we're inviting them in to help tell this wonderful story and give them the tools and resources that they need to help them do whatever it is they are moved to do. Another one is promote the contribution of the arts and humanities as well as the sciences in sustainability education. If we can get kids singing and dancing and drawing and using the arts as well as the sciences, it makes a much better story. Enhance the role of mass media in raising awareness of ecological and social challenges. So that's happening with our, since this, if you think that this came out first in the year 2000, and you think of the rise of social media during that time, we are there, and the young people have the skills to bring that to the fore, certainly.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do with Malcolm and we, is to
Yes,
take which right now, especially the younger people, they are not watching the television. They're not watching, they're not listening to radio. They're constantly on the internet, the social media.
right.
And we're trying to create programming that they might listen to.
Yeah,
And
good.
and you'll be, I guess hooking, them to things to do to improve the world, and they can do it. But what I'm thinking is, what they don't talk about, we is composed with a lot of eyes. You have to have a lot of eyes that compress into the we. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the eyes and the voices heard.
Yeah. So what is it? To inspire, inform, and involve people, the three eyes that make a we.
Yeah.
Yeah, the three eyes that make a
Yeah.
No,
we.
three
So go
three
for
eyes
me.
make a
I get so confused.
So it may be that we can collaborate in some way to get this youth and elder. That was our when I started telling you about Adrian Alvarez, and I did a presentation on intergenerational collaboration, and we're really looking at ways to get the word out and help people to make those bridges between the generations, so that we're not trying to do this. We don't, the elders don't have all the answers, but we certainly have a lot of experience, and we certainly have a lot of passion to bring into this. The young people have their energy and enthusiasm and optimism. They want confirmation that it's okay to be optimistic and to get into action. And so that's where the collaboration comes in, and to be able to work together in a way that has a meaningful message. Adrian wants to really do some very short little, like 1 minute videos, TikTok style, that will have the message going out fast and furious and with lots of people.
Well, we will be in touch, because that's what we really are trying to do, is to flesh out the Malcolm Presents part. That was the whole reason he came in and asked about being a partner and how we could work together. I mean, I know we're already doing a lot of things, like with the Welcome to We show and all that we're doing, but we just have to have more and more and more, because as often as we've been saying it, it's still surprising how many people don't know. But
Right.
there are lots of opportunities, and keep working at it, and then people will go, "Where have you been?"
Well, so Sue,
"We've been
time is
here."
running out and our half hour is up. Is there a place that people could reach you, email address or?
Sure. You can contact me at Sue Blythe, that's SUEBLYTHE at we.net.
Okay, very good. And I thank you very much and look forward to having you again on the show and talk
Wonderful.
about what the progress is.
I'd love that. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Malcolm.
Thank you
yeah.
very much. And you're listening to Malcolm and We, heard on malcolmpresents.com. See you guys next week. Bye.
The objective of the organization We the World is to facilitate cooperation on a global scale amongst groups and individuals dedicated to implementing solutions to the many challenges we face on the planet at this time.